Hi everybody, I'm Mike, and this is Bubba's Workbench. And yes, once again, time for another update. This update's about, maybe 2 months late now. And of course, as with most of my updates, they come with several apologies. The biggest project I've been working on, well, I guess I'll just get right into it. What's been going on in Bubba's Workbench, or on Bubba's Workbench, whatever. Anyways, I've been trying to finish up a bunch of what I call partway projects that are partway done. So I like to finish them and showcase them on my channel. Well, these should be very quick built, and this ugly drum smoker, which has been my main focus, taking up so much time, and clearly I'm doing things in the wrong order. I need to be getting the smaller projects out first while I continue to focus on the longer ones, which is why I haven't been putting up any videos. So I'm gonna put a stop on this for the time being and try to get myself back on track. This train has derailed, and I'm trying to get it back on track. And so what I'll do in this video is, I think I already explained some projects that I've got coming up, so I won't go too much into that. But then you know how it is, somebody comes along and wants you to do a project. Of course, it's a time-sensitive project. So now everything's being put on hold while I take on this one task for a buddy of mine who is now going to be hunting season, and he's likes to duck hunting, and so I need to get this done within a few weeks. I think near the end of October, which today is, I don't know what today is. Is today the 11th? Not sure. It's sometime in October. I want to say about the 11th. So I think he needs by the 29th, and then of course today tells me he needs it now a day earlier. So let me get into what I've been working on, and that's this ugly drum smoker. And I think the best way for me to show you what I've been doing is, let's give you more of a close-up. Let me do a vlog style. You will see everything in greater detail in the actual video, but let me show you what I've been working on. So the first challenge was hinging this lid. That was one of the most difficult things. I had already made these custom hinges, and they're just 3-inch washers that I cut at a specific angle. And when I do the video, I'll have templates in case somebody wants to try to duplicate those hinges. But before all of that, one of the things I did is I moved the wheels. Those wheels were underneath the drum, and this thing would want to tip over very easily. So I just took some plates of steel there, attached to the outside, bolted them on, and it's working just fine. And it doesn't seem to want to tip at all. So that was a good idea on my part there, moving them out, more stability. And then we go from needing to do a handle. And so once again, I decided, hey, I can utilize those washers some more. I've got a bunch of these. Actually, I don't have too much left now. I've been using them so much. So I've got my handle, got me a spring handle on here. This is all loose. This is not finalized yet. But one of the problems I have, and I did add the smokestack. Now, I'm not going to give you any example of welding because I did probably the worst welding I have ever done in my life. Even when I took classes, I don't even think I did that bad. But this lid, I've never had such a hard time welding. It didn't matter how low I turned the setting down on my welder. I was just blowing holes through it left and right. So this was a huge challenge trying to get that thing fixed. But this steel is still extremely flimsy. So like even when you open this lid, there's so much flexing of the lid itself, as you can see, that I may in the future, we'll see what happens once I get done, is I think I'm going to end up wanting to make an entirely new lid out of thicker steel because the thing is ridiculous. At the very least, I may do like some angle braces, just make like an X pattern or something, and that should stiffen them up perfectly. So of course, there's where we are with the ugly drum smoker. It's just about done. I got to put a little cap on the smokestack there that you can open and close. And then I got to mount where the gauges are going to go. And then something that I just forgot about adding on is I'm going to have a little plug where I can run my temperature probe through the side. And then after that, it'll be paint and it's done. So this is really close. So now let me set the camera down and let me show you what new project I'm working on. Okay, so a while back, and it's actually one of my favorite projects I've ever made, is a buddy of mine wanted to make what they refer to as a game cart. Now what we first did is, it's a popular thing that I think some people have done is you get one of those, I think the company's called Bob. I don't know if it's the only one that makes them. It's those little like trailers you pull behind your bicycle that you put your child in. You know, it's like a little tent or whatever. Well, we took the framing of one of those and I modified it. And since it already had the mounts, it was already attached to a bicycle, the original idea was he could then hook that to his bike and wheel into the area where he'd be hunting. Well, we built that one, or I modified one, and then he needed a second one, so I built one from scratch, and that's the one that's sitting here. And it's not in the best shape. It's gone through about 2 or 3 seasons of duck hunting, so the camo's kind of worn off, and it's starting to rust a little bit. However, now that his hunting has, or hobby of duck hunting, has increased to such capacity that this little cart is not big enough anymore. And he also realized that trying to ride his bike with a trailer attached into a swampy type area did not work so good sometimes because it was a little bit too muddy. So he ends up wanting to pull it into wherever his blind is or wherever his spot is. And when I built this one, I made some provisions for what I call rickshaw mode. So if you didn't want to hook it on a bicycle, have an extra pole so you could have 2 poles and then walk it in. Okay, so that was great and everything's fine. Like I said, 2 or 3 seasons have gone by. And now he's decided that it's just not big enough for all of the decoys and whatnot. And now he has at least one buddy that he goes with on a regular basis. So they need room for both of their gear, their guns, their decoys, everything else. So what we've decided to do, or at least what he's decided to do, he brought me both carts, and I'm basically going to attach both of them. So it's going to be a giant, I don't know what you call it. I can't really call it a sled. It'll just be a giant push cart now. So that's what I'm going to be doing is putting these 2 together and making one long cart. As a quick overview of how it looked like, you know, I have these fold down sides. And when I built this, I made this thing with the intention that you could break it down to a very small package so you could store it away. You know, you only use it for a few months, a couple months out of a year. So it folds down, you know, these arms come off. As you can see, here's the part that attaches to your bicycle. You know, goes in over here. And I've got a series of pins that basically hold everything together. You know, very quick, very easy. Got these, you know, tires right here that go on the side. And it works out really good. So that's what is now taking over the shop, is I've got to combine both of these carts into one. Let's see how it goes. So I think that's about it. I have maybe a quick little review video coming out. I still have a couple jigs that I mentioned, I think, in my last update I was working on, that I'll be releasing that video. And I had some of my test boxes, so all of that stuff's still in the video editing folder, waiting to be edited. So I appreciate you sticking around, and hopefully now that I'm doing this metalworking project, I don't lose too many subscribers. And until next time, you take care. See you around.